Pleasure is the bait of sin. Light is the shadow of God. Come then, and let us pass a leisure hour in storytelling, and our story shall be the education of our heroes. Every heart sings a song, incomplete until another heart whispers back. Those who wish to sing always find a song. At the touch of a lover, everyone becomes a poet. No man should bring children into the world who is unwilling to persevere to the end in their nature and education. Opinion is the medium between knowledge and ignorance. Education is teaching our children to desire the right things. I am the wisest man alive, for I know one thing, and that is that I know nothing. The most effective kind of education is that a child should play amongst lovely things. Even the gods love jokes. The measure of a man is what he does with power. The soul of him who has education is whole and perfect and escapes the worst disease. But if a man's education be neglected, he walks lamely through life and returns good for nothing to the world below. The unexamined life is not worth living. Is it our chief aim in life to avoid risks? The heaviest penalty for declining to rule is to be ruled by someone inferior to yourself. Thinking, the talking of the soul with itself. Everything that deceives also enchants. No matter at all, I replied, for the point is not who said the words, but whether they are true or not. The direction in which education starts, a man will determine his future life. Wise men talk because they have something to say. Fools talk because they have to say something. How will you go about finding that thing, the nature of which is totally unknown to you? The object of education is to teach us to love what is beautiful. Never discourage anyone who continually makes progress, no matter how slow. Love sees no enemies, fear does. Good people do not need laws to tell them to act responsibly, while bad people will find a way around the laws. Do not train a child to learn by force or harshness, but direct them to it by what amuses their minds, so that you may be better able to discover with accuracy the peculiar bent of the genius of each. We can easily forgive a child who is afraid of the dark. The real tragedy of life is when men are afraid of the light. If a man neglects education, he walks lame to the end of his life. Only the dead have seen the end of the war. Beauty is the splendor of truth. The tools that would teach men their own use would be beyond price. Be kind, for everyone you meet is fighting a harder battle. To love rightly is to love what is orderly and beautiful in an educated and disciplined way. Ignorance, the root and the stem of every evil. The purpose of education is to give to the body and to the soul all the beauty and all the perfection of which they are capable. Seek truth while you are young, for if you do not, it will later escape your grasp. For the object of education is to teach us to love beauty. The most important part of education is proper training in the nursery. Let us describe the education of our men. What then is the education to be? Perhaps we could hardly find a better than that which the experience of the past has already discovered, which consists, I believe, in gymnastic for the body and music for the mind. And may we not say, Adeimantus, that the most gifted minds, when they are ill-educated, become the worst? Philosophy begins in wonder. Lessons, however, that enter the soul against its will never grow roots and will never be preserved inside it. Let early education be a sort of amusement. You will then be better able to find out the natural bent. I know too well that these arguments from probabilities are impostors, and unless great caution is observed in the use of them, they are apt to be deceptive. The only real ill-doing is the deprivation of knowledge. Education and admonition commence in the first years of childhood, and last to the very end of life. For good nurture and education implant good constitutions. In the world of knowledge, the idea of good appears last of all, and is seen only with effort. Education is the constraining and directing of youth towards that right reason, which the law affirms, and which the experience of the best of our elders has agreed to be truly right. The most important part of education is right training in the nursery. The soul of the child in his play should be trained to that sort of excellence in which, when he grows to manhood, he will have to be perfected. Better to complete a small task well than to do much imperfectly. The one who learns and learns and doesn't practice is like the one who plows and never plants. Don't force your children into your ways, for they were created for a time different from your own. True education, whatever that may be, will have the greatest tendency to civilize and humanize them in their relations to one another. A house that has a library in it has a soul. The right question is usually more important than the right answer. Do not use compulsion, but let early education be a sort of amusement. You will then be better able to find out the natural bent. Knowledge which is acquired under compulsion obtains no hold on the mind. In order for man to succeed in life, God provided him with two means: education and physical activity. Not separately, one for the soul and the other for the body, but for the two together. With these means, man can attain perfection. Music gives a soul to the universe, wings to the mind, flight to the imagination, and life to everything. Good actions give strength to ourselves and inspire good actions in others. Is there anything more akin to wisdom than truth? He was a wise man who invented beer. No human thing is of serious importance. Life must be lived as play. The first and the best victory is to conquer self. A good decision is based on knowledge and not numbers. Is not the love of learning the love of wisdom, which is philosophy? Apply yourself both now and in the next life. Without effort, you cannot be prosperous. Though the land is good, you cannot have an abundant crop without cultivation. Those who love the truth in each thing are to be called lovers of wisdom and not lovers of opinion. Opinion is the medium between knowledge and ignorance. Your silence gives consent. There are three classes of men: lovers of wisdom, lovers of honor, and lovers of gain. Happiness springs from doing good and helping others. False words are not only evil in themselves, but they infect the soul with evil. You can discover more about a person in an hour of play than in a year of conversation. Love is a serious mental disease. Character is simply habit long continued. Courage is knowing what not to fear. Know thyself. Reality is created by the mind. We can change our reality by changing our mind. To begin is the most important part of any quest, and by far the most courageous. You should not honor men more than truth. No one is more hated than he who speaks the truth. Beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder.